Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes vlog. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I am really happy to bring you from our friends at Hunky Dory Crafts this great collection. This is called the His and Hers Pyramount collection, Pyramount Topper collection. Wow, I got it. I had to start that over a few times. So let me show you what's included in this. So you get, here is a collection of the Hers, and it has all of these little, there's 3 little vignettes on each sheet, and I'm going to show you how they work. You get multiples of each of these sheets, and they're just beautiful, and they're really fun and easy to do. There's that one, and then here's the His collection. There we go. So cute. And I love that there's a mix of sort of sophistication and whimsical, juvenile, something for a card for every age group, for all the hymns in your life. All right, and then this is insert papers, so you can line your cards with the insides of these, or with these inside. And these, you get 48 papers, you get 12 of each color, and they're all these beautiful parchment colors. And then, of course, you get cardstock for the Hers and the His that match perfectly. And then, of course, all the colors are right here, but I just want to take a look at it's a little glossy, really nice stuff. And if you want a more in-depth look at these, if you go to the product page at Paper Wishes, just put in the search bar His or Hers, you will get a closer look at a video that Paulette did. Now we also have these great cards. I love these cards. These are fancy folded Aperture fancy foiled Aperture cards. And for these you get 6, there's 6 designs, and you get 4 of each kind. So you get a whole big bundle of them. I'm just going to show you right now the different sizes. There's 5x7, and then there's 5x5. And these all punch out. See these little Aperture like windows, and the finishes are in gold and silver. Like that, and then you have really nice scalloped ones. It's a really nice label shape, and a square, and I believe the circle is in there as well. Okay, and as I said, you get envelopes with these as well. All right, so let me show you this first card I did using the His collection. For this one, we can zoom in some, Steve. So for this, I didn't use one of the Aperture cards. I wanted to show them that you could use them, just the toppers. So these are 6x6 cards from Hunky Dory. And I went ahead and I cut from the front only. I cut 3 inches off from the right side. And then I went ahead and I took this beautiful green and blue cardstock, and I wanted this great from Gingham #1 paper pack. This large gingham I used in the black, because to me that just kind of felt like soccer. And I went ahead and then lined the back of the card with that great sort of parchmenty paper in a blue, and then I added some dazzle. These are colorful thin line dazzle stickers, and I used just one of these blue ones right here, just a little bit away from the edge, just maybe like a 1/16 of an inch away from that edge. And then I just stacked these pieces up with foam tape. So how do we do that? Let me show you. All right, so here's one from the Hers collection that I already started with. So what I love about these is they are space saving. When you punch all the pieces out, okay, so right here I've got a little music box with a ballerina on it. All right, so on the inside of each one of these is another piece to remove. And I love that way, if they had spaced these all out on a sheet, you'd get less on a sheet. So I just think that's really nice and clever. Now, they have these little tabs on them. There's a couple of things that you can do. You can just take your thumbnail and just kind of scratch those off. You can take a fine little piece of scissors here, small scissors, and you can just nip those off like that. Or you can take a little sanding block and you can just go like that. I find the sanding block to be the fastest way to do it. Now the ones on the inside, you don't have to worry about those. Those are all going to be covered up. Okay, so I'm just going to sand that little piece off. I find if I don't remove those, my card looks a little hairy. So here we go. All right, now the next thing we want to have some foam tape. So I like to have these little foam tape squares, right? And we're going to start off with the bottom one right here. And then the next one is going to align perfectly. And I find it's best to try, when you're aligning these, just to kind of try to get right over the top of it and align two parts opposite each other. And that seems to do the trick. So I'm going to take a couple of these little foam tape pieces. Oops, it's just stuck to my finger. Okay, and I should mention, you don't want to put them up close to the circle here. In fact, I think I got them. You want to put them out pretty far from the inner circle. There we go. Oops. All right, so then you're going to line these up. There we go. And then we have the next one. And I find just like 2 pieces of foam tape is all you need. One at the top, one at the bottom, or on the sides across from each other. Doesn't really matter. All right, here's our little ballerina. So I'm lining up her head, and then I'm paying attention to this little piece right down here. And then we have a little center piece right here. Now this doesn't have a circle in it, so you can just use one little piece of foam tape right there. And here, that's about at the waist. There we go. Oop. There. All right, so now you've got this little 3D, sort of a pyramid. And then you've also got your 2 little greetings, one for the outside, one for the inside. So let's look at more cards. So here's one that I did using the circular one, just like the one I did here. After I built that up, I wanted to put it on something kind of a larger, more substantial base. So I used some silver linen cardstock and some 12 circle and scallop cutting dies. I used the largest scallop one right here, and I cut my scallop background. Okay. Now you could very easily use one of the cardstock colors too. I just wanted to play off of that silver around my little focal point there. All right, so then I did that, and then I did the next size, or the largest size circle right here, and I used 6x6 sweet pea paper cardstock. It's patterned cardstock rather. And I used the black one right here and just glued that on, and then I added a little 4-inch paper doily. They come in a pack of 25. And then I glued my topper on the center of that. So then I'm going to make an easel card. So I started off with a 5-inch square card. Okay, you can buy these at Paper Wishes, already pre-cut, 5 inches square. They're from Hunky Dory as well, and they come with a coordinating envelope. So what I did there is I took some of the paper and I went ahead and cut down to about 4 3/4 of an inch this really sweet little pink plaid paper and glued that right on the center. Then I'm going to fold this card, and that's after you've covered it with paper. You're going to fold it like this. Okay, so here we are right here. And then I'm going to make a little decoration at the bottom edge of the inside, because when I go ahead and I'm going to foam tape this piece, little foam tape pieces here to get rid of. When I have my foam tape on the back of this, I want to foam tape only on the lower portion of the card. There we go. So you see I'm not attaching foam tape to this part, just what's below the fold. All right, so that you can just prop that up, and this needs to be foam taped as well, so that your card recipient can just prop that up like this and enjoy that cute little, it's there. Now we have a little on your special day, and I forgot to remove my little tab here. You see a little fuzzy piece there. Just take that off, and then that can go right there. And I've also got a little pink gingham bow. Now there is a bow right here, but I really like just to add a 3D bow, and for that I'm just going to use Cosmic Shimmer Specialist Acrylic Glue. I used that throughout this whole process. I glued every portion of it except what I needed with foam tape. And I'm just going to glue that right over that one right there. And so there you go. That's all set right there. So that's a really cute little one for a her. Okay, so now I'm going to switch back. This is from the Hers collection again. And I used a 5x7 card and Aperture card. And you can see it's got this nice oval, and I stamped on it. So these cards can be a little tricky because they have the aperture in them, and then what do you do? How do you cover them with paper, things like that? So I'm going to show you how I did this just using a stamp. So I'm going to grab, this is one here where I have not removed that center piece. I'm going to fold that, and then I'm going to use my stamping platform. I'm going to just put that right there. And then we have, this is a all over script stamp from hot off the press. Just comes right off like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this, it's smaller than the card. I'm going to place it just like that, so that once I stamp it, it has a nice border around that. Okay, now I inked my card brown using some blender brushes, and there's my brown ink. And I used coffee, here we go. This is roasted coffee, and I just did that all over my card before I stamped on it. And then I also wanted to show you the blender brushes that I use, because we've got several sets. We've got this set of 3, and then we have this set of 4. And I don't know that I've ever showed them to you all put together, but I use both sets all the time. And when you put them together like this, they sort of fill in the gaps between sizes, like this little tiny one. I use this one constantly for the little small areas all the way up to the really large areas. So it's really worth it to pick up both sets if you do a lot of inking. So yeah, I just did the coffee brown all along the surface there. You want to do that while this oval piece is still there, so that way you're not getting any ink on the inside. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little stamp. I'm using black Memento Tuxedo Black ink. It's just one of my favorites. Kind of a tried and true. Ooh, I've got a little air bubble there. There we go. All right, now I'll probably have to stamp this a couple of times, but that's why we're using the stamping platform. This is the Misty. And you just kind of want to put a little bit of pressure on all points. Hey, that did pretty well the first time. Okay. And I always like to get the ink off my stamps as soon as possible. I'll do a better job of that once I finish filming. All right, so we've got all of this. I'm just going to take this You could keep this. It would make a great focal on another card. You could put a flower in the center of it. It's already stamped. All right, and then once I was done with that, I've already done my inking, or I would have already done my inking if I had done that beforehand. And then just go back to my colorful thin line dazzle stickers, and there's this beautiful bronze one. And so that's what I ended up doing, just putting layers of the scalloped. I did the top and the bottom first, and then I just went down the sides. So they're crossing over. Added a little ribbon, added a little pixie petal. This is a little parchment colored pixie petal. I just glued that right there, and then just glued this little greeting with the little bow right under that. So that was a pretty easy one to put together too. And plus I love that script stamp. I use it a lot. So here's this card, also using one of the apertures, and I just did a little inking and stenciling on this one. So for this one, to grab a card. Here we go. I used one of the 5x7 cards. So I'm just going to grab an oval here. All right, and we're going to need our craft mat. So the first thing I started with was I wanted to do some stenciling. So this is the double diamond stencil. I use this one a lot. It's just, I think, my favorite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down right over the top here and just add a little stencil tape. I like to start at the middle because that's going to be the part that's going to show first. So I have two colors of ink. I've got Arctic Mist and French Navy. I'm going to start off with the Arctic Mist. And I'm going to show you when I started doing this, when I did this last night, my inking wasn't great on here. I had some where I just went too heavy and it kind of leaked under a little bit. And I was going to start over. And then I thought, you know what? I kind of like that look. So I did the stencil first, and then I went over it kind of in spot areas with the French Navy. And then I gave it a little mist when I was done with this gold glimmer mist, which was great. And it's really sparkly. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you this little, my little oops turned out to be pretty good, I think. Now, if I had wanted to get sort of a tighter fit on this and not have any leaking underneath, first of all, I would have slowed down and not tried to do this stenciling as fast, or I could have used a repositional stencil spray to put this down. You spray it on the back side of the stencil, and I find that works really well when especially when I'm in a hurry. All right, so now I'm going to reposition this, and all I have to do is just line up those triangles. Whoops, a little too high. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and use some of the French Navy. Oops, I did not blot. All right, we're just going to see if we can get rid of that big smudge. Okay. Let's see if we can add a little bit more to this side of the card to make that smudge a little less noticeable. So when you have an unintentional smudge, like I did, where it's just too big of a blot of color, just go ahead and even it out with adding more on the card. That way it looks a little more intentional. Your oops can just be fine. Okay, oh, now I'm going to take that out. I'm going to bend this over. And actually, I shouldn't have taken that out. I'm going to leave that like that. And now we're going to do our little mist. Mix that up good. And I like to get kind of far away, but I don't want to get mist everywhere on this card. So I'm just going to kind of hold it a little bit. I kind of did a spray at the top right and the lower left. There we go. And then you're ready to go ahead and put a little bit of teal ribbon from the teal ribbon set on there. And then I just foam taped the little greeting right there, and then went ahead and stacked up my little pyramid and put it right there. So you guys, we've got a great collection here. And there's a really nice money saver on this. There might even be multiple ones. Sometimes they divide it up on me. I would encourage you, if you're watching us on our vlog page, just to take a look at the money saver. It is on the right-hand side. And then just click on that and it'll take you to the money saver page. And also, if you're watching us on our vlog page, below the video, there is a gallery where you can check out there's a gallery where you can check out full color pictures of our cards, and if you click on the cards, they're supply lists. And then below the gallery, there's also a drop-down menu with all of the supplies that I used. The craft mat, the scissors, the sprays, the glues, everything. And if you're watching us on YouTube, there is a link in the description box below the video. Just click on that. It'll take you to the Paper Wishes vlog page where you can see everything I just mentioned. And consider subscribing either on YouTube or on paperwishes.com, because we do 3 to 5 videos a week and you might miss one of them if you don't subscribe. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.